I'm Mike Boggs. I serve as Chief Justice of the Georgia Supreme Court. I think most prominent on everyone's mind is the backlog of cases that the COVID pandemic has demonstrated and created. And so I know our court, along with high courts across the country, are dealing with giving guidance to their trial courts on how best to remediate those backlogs and address those backlogs, and whether that's through additional resources or additional trials. I think people generally focus on the criminal cases, and of course, the real world impact there is that we're affecting people's substantive rights, and whether it's their freedom or their due process rights to have cases decided within a significant period of certain period of time. And so on the criminal side, you've got serious violent felonies that have backlogged because sometimes, in many instances, warrants have been issued but not yet executed, so folks have not even been arrested. Or they've been arrested and they've not yet been presented in a timely fashion to a grand jury, and therefore have not had opportunities in many instances to have bail determination hearings made. In other instances, they're backlogged into our jail systems at the local level because they've not yet been tried and either acquitted or convicted and moved into the state system. And so the collateral consequences of not getting to the criminal cases in a timely fashion are myriad and affect both constitutional rights and substantive rights, but also the real practicalities of operating county jails and implications of bringing in grand juries and otherwise. But on the civil side, things people that aren't talking about, but that are equally important. People in civil litigation want closure. Businesses need closure in their business litigation cases. In our domestic relations cases, people that are trying to get through a divorce and move on need custody determinations and child support determinations. And so, it's the whole breadth of the judicial system that has been impacted by COVID that largely affects the criminal side, but also the civil side. My creation of a drug court program when I was a trial court judge in the southern part of the state, where I had a circuit that was comprised of 6 predominantly rural counties. And, heretofore, I had always considered the job of a judge to listen to the evidence and to follow the law and to adjudicate cases. I had never really paid a lot of attention to the role that a judge could have and the impact a judge could have on the policy side, in a thoughtful way and in a way that's compliant with respective codes of conduct and otherwise, but that judges could actually make a difference instead of just dispensing justice, could make a really significant difference in the lives of the people who come before them. And so I think for me, creating and then presiding over my circuit's first felony drug court was probably one of the more important things that has occurred in my legal career and my career as a judge, because it demonstrated to me an opportunity to make a difference in a way that intuitively I had not really considered when I thought about becoming a judge, but then realized that judges have an enormous amount of authority and also an enormous opportunity to convene and to bring people together and to advance matters that improve the administration of justice. And so for me, I think that was my first foray into that sort of field, and it laid the foundation, I guess I would say, for all of the other things that I have been so fortunate to be involved in. If I had to point to a couple of things that were most important to me that I'm proud of, is that first, creating the drug court program and doing really that from whole cloth and just kind of having to create it and get it off the ground and fund it and figure out how to do it, which really led to my involvement in Governor Deal's criminal justice reform efforts from 2012 through 2018 and co-chairing that commission. I've been really privileged to be involved in a lot of national organizations that advocate for improvements to the administration of justice, advocate for improvements to access to justice, really focusing on the deliveries and the deliverables that the justice system has for the citizens that they serve. And so for me, I'm most proud of the fact that as a judge, I have been able to at least try to make a difference in the lives of some of the people we deal with. And it can be very frustrating being a judge and not having many tools in your toolbox to address the myriad of issues that come before you. It can be quite frustrating. And so having an opportunity to really take that information and let it inform a broader policy discussion and ultimately policy change has been very important to me and something I'm really proud of.